Welcome to the For Listeners program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear, and on the mics for me this week is the mighty Ganthor. What is up, Ganthor?
Oh, man, dude, I feel it with you.
Yeah, dude!
Something's different this week. What is it?
There's no Z.
Oh, there you go. That is it.
There's no Z. I don't have to deal with the fucking psychotic singing or anything along those lines.
He is a little, you know.
He's a bad singer. That's what he is. Sorry, bud, if you're listening, but you can't sing, bro.
He knows he's bad.
Yeah, he knows. Which is why he does it week after week just to drive me fucking crazy.
Yep.
All right. This week, something must be done about video game adaptations. You and I, Ganthor, are old school video game players.
We are old school.
We grew up with this stuff. We grew up with the old school games. We grew up with Mario. We grew up with the Nintendo, with the Sega Genesis, and just recently, as long as we're on the topic of Sega Genesis, just recently, an adaptation for two Sega Genesis games were announced: Streets of Rage and Altered Beast.
Adaptations?
Yeah, movie adaptations.
Oh, there's no story to either of those games.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
What is there to adapt?
That's the thing. Like, all of these games that we used to play when we were kids, there weren't stories. It wasn't like today's video games where there's a narrative and you have to kind of go through the whole thing, like the Halo games. There's all kinds of narratives about the aliens and all kinds of other shit, or Gears of War or anything along, or like Call of Duty. They all have stories.
Well, Call of Duty, I don't know about that. Let's not go that far. Halo, yes. Gears of War, okay, yes.
Call of Duty had Kevin Spacey in it, dude.
So?
Yeah, I mean, they have stories to them. But the point is that the games that we used to play when we were kids, the old school games, they were just trying to get the high score. There were no stories involved in any of these games.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, Altered Beast was a game where you were, I guess you were a resurrected Greek hero or something like that, and you
Wise from your grave.
and that was about the extent of the story. And then you could transform into these different beasts as you progressed through the game, just to get to a boss level so that you could beat the game. End of story. Yeah. What in the hell are they going to make a movie from?
Where did you hear this rumor? Is this legit?
This is legit. I'm reading it off of Engadget.
Are they reputable?
Engadget, sure. It's a reputable site. It says here, Sega Group's production arm is teaming with the Fear the Walking Dead producer Circle of Confusion on adaptations of 80s and 90s classics Altered Beasts and Streets of Rage, according to Variety. Variety is a pretty reputable entertainment news source.
Okay. I mean, Streets of Rage, that was one of my favorite Genesis games.
Well, Streets of Rage was like the Double Dragon type of game where it's like these two guys just going through just beating things up. I mean, that's the thing. These two games, You're just... Bad guys come from the right, good guys come from the left. They meet in the middle, and you punch.
Yeah, they have a term for that type of game.
It's a beat 'em up.
Is that what that might be the term?
It's a beat 'em up.
Side scrolling beat 'em up.
Side scrolling beat 'em up. That's what they're called. I mean, is that what you're going to make a movie about?
Yeah, there's not much. It's certainly no worse than a lot of other Hollywood book adaptations, where the only thing that they have in common are maybe character names and title.
Well, you're right. I mean, these games, there's nothing to it. What are you going to make a feature-length movie about?
Yeah.
Historically, video game to movie adaptations have been bad. I mean, bad. And I was thinking about this today. The only movie that I can think of that was adapted from a video game that I really liked was Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal Kombat movie. I
haven't seen it.
That was the one where it's like it had that techno music. It was Mortal Kombat. Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun,
I remember that.
Right,
Johnny Cage wins again.
Yeah, but I liked playing the Mortal Kombat game, and at least the characters that they had in the game had. I mean, there was a backstory. Like you could tell that they had developed something of a mythology around the characters, and then when they brought that into a movie,
there's not enough time to establish that for every character in there.
But they did it like in the arcades. If you sat there and you watched the screens long enough, it would be like it would be like Raiden, and then Raiden is the god of lightning, and then like there would be this whole page of like stuff about his backstory. So you could take some of that story and you can extrapolate it into a movie, and then come up with a contrived plot around it where all the characters have to come together in order to fight the bad guys, and then get into fights, just like the game. And there was techno, and there was the awesome fight scenes, and that movie was cool. Like I'm sure if I went back and I watched it now, I'd probably go, "What in the fuck was I thinking?" when I first watched it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be terrible.
Oh yeah.
Dude, have you played Mortal Kombat, the Genesis version, recently?
Not recently, but I love that game.
Yeah, I did too, but it's fucking terrible.
To me, the definitive Mortal Kombat game was Mortal Kombat 2. I was the Mortal Kombat 2 champion on my floor freshman year.
Big whoop! You fucking suck at Street Fighter.
Well,
so
that's all right. But I had Mortal Kombat and I had NBA Jam.
Who was your Mortal Kombat character?
I was Scorpion.
Oh, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, well, I would have taken your ass on. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were mortal enemies.
Ice ball, uppercut.
I
ripped your spine out, dude.
Whatever. All I would have done is I would have just like teleported through like the left side of the screen, showed up on your right, and I would have just obliterated you in the next week. I would have taken my harpoon.
I know how to counter that?
You can't counter it because you don't even know it's coming. You're too busy trying to throw your little ice ball, snowball thing there.
Bullshit.
In the meantime, I'm flying across the room.
Right into my ice ball.
Dude, I would kick your ass all day long. All day long. Don't fuck with me, Ganthor.
Need I remind you how Street Fighter went?
Yeah, you don't have to remind me, but Street Fighter, look. We played what? Like 15 games? You won 8 out of 15.
In a row.
Not in a row.
Yeah, dude. No, I went on a tear.
You went on a tear, but you didn't finish on a streak.
I did too.
You did not. You did not. You see, you remember things the way you want. You remember things the way you want to remember them. Okay.
How do you think I get through life?
You remember? You're like my ex-wife. You remember things the way you want to remember them. Okay. I'm not fucking dealing with you. If I wanted this kind of bullshit, I would have stayed married. Fuck you, Ganthor. I can't watch these things. Like I love like even today's video games. Like I love Assassin's Creed. I've played every one of the Assassin's Creed games. And Assassin's Creed, for those of you who aren't as nerdy as I am, it's about characters who get plugged into this thing called the Animus, and they relive the lives of their ancestors who are all part of this basically a holy war between the Assassins and the Templars. I have played every one of these games. They're all set in different historical settings, like the Renaissance or the Revolutionary War. And I love the games. I can play them for hours and hours and hours, but the movie just looks like ass.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell you. It's stupid. They need to run this by us, and they will say, hey, we're thinking of investing $100 million in this. What do you think? And I don't even have to read the script to say no.
But they're even getting like really good actors to be in these movies. Like Michael Fassbender is in this Assassin's Creed movie.
Dude, how much did he get paid?
Millions.
I would do it in a second. I don't care. If I'm an actor, I don't care.
Where's your artistic integrity as an actor? You know this movie's going to suck.
Millions to do another podcast, would you do it?
I would do a podcast if somebody paid me $10.
What if it was a podcast talking shit on the Giants and how bad they suck?
For $10
millions of dollars.
For $10 I would do it, let alone millions of dollars.
Wait, why do you hate the Giants?
I don't hate the Giants. I'm just saying if somebody's willing to pay me to podcast.
Oh, if somebody's willing to pay you I'll pay you $10 to do a podcast with me that talks about how much the Giants suck. There, I called you out.
Give me the $10.
All right. Next time I see you.
Give me the $10. I'll do it.
All right. What I'm saying is, actors, I would take the payday any day. Michael Fatt, what's he worried about? He doesn't have artistic integrity to protect. Who cares? Take the money. But if you're talking about, if you're an investor in this film and they say, oh, Assassin's Creed is all the rage, you'd be like, it was all the rage 10 years ago. Actually, not 10 years ago, but you get what my hyperbole. But it's all the rage. I'm like, no, it's going to be a dumb fucking movie. There's no way to adapt it to a film. There's no story. There's nothing you could do to make it interesting. Just forget it. Save your money. What I'm not worried about. What I'm wondering about is maybe they know that and that they invest in these shitty things as a money laundering vehicle, right? Because Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, I guess it's all a little creative. Come on.
They never make a profit on any of the movies because of the way they do accounting and billing and all that sort of things. That sounds like a perfect way to launder money. And it's like, I'm going to invest. How much? What's the budget for Assassin's Creed?
I don't know. Tens of millions of dollars.
Whatever, tens of millions of dollars.
Let's call it 50 mil. 50 million. Let's call it that.
Let's say 50. That's Yeah, they laundered a lot of money.
See,
Probably.
what I
That's just my
wonder
theory.
what I wonder about this though are the video game companies themselves. Like, this is a valuable property for Ubisoft. They're the makers of the Assassin's Creed
They're
series.
not the makers. They're the publishers.
The publishers, all right? But why would they let this movie get made knowing that it's going to be a horrendous bomb and potentially damage their intellectual property?
I don't think there will be any fallbacks for it. People are going to play the game because they like the game. But just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, and some of the best examples of that are like
E.T.
Well, no. Oh, well, the E.T. video game. Yeah.
Widely regarded and acknowledged as the worst video game ever.
Not just the worst video game adaptation of a movie, but the worst video game ever. I mean,
yeah,
E.T. is historic for nearly crashing the entire video game industry.
Mm-hmm.
Was it recent that they unearthed
yes,
like thousands of copies of E.T. in a landfill?
Yes, the game was so bad they took all of the cartridges and they entombed them in a landfill, and that was recently discovered because that's how bad the game is.
And now it's something of a curiosity that they've put these cartridges in like museums now and stuff like that. It's really kind of amazing. But E.T. is probably the best example of a video game based on a movie gone as horribly wrong as it can go. Right. The reverse is Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Super Mario Brothers is one of the most beloved video game franchises of all time. Mario is almost as recognizable as Mickey Mouse when it comes to characters. And when they made the Super Mario Brothers movie, it was so god-awful. And it had halfway reasonable actors in it. It had Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was playing Mario. Bob Hoskins, who's a British actor, by the way, is playing an Italian plumber. John Leguizamo played Luigi, and Dennis Hopper, poor Academy Award nominee Dennis Hopper, had to be in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Playing like Bowser. Now, Bowser, by the way, for those of you who aren't Mario Brothers fans, is a big, what would you call him? Like a turtle dragon type of deal?
He's a dragon.
Yeah.
With the turtle shell.
With a turtle shell. What the fuck is Dennis Hopper doing playing Bowser, of all things? Oh, man. It was so bad. It was so bad. And widely regarded as probably the worst video game movie ever made.
See, I would love to get invited to whatever the rooms are, the meeting rooms where these things happen, where the pitches happen, where the investors talk and say, I think I'm going to put my money in it or not. I just want to watch it happen.
Well, you got to imagine that the conversation goes, well, this is a huge multi-billion-dollar property. People are interested in it. We should make a movie about it.
And then the money will just pour in, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the easiest sells in the world.
It's got to be more fucked up than that, though.
I mean, that's how the Assassin's Creed movie had to have gotten made. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been tinkering with the idea of doing a Halo movie, a Halo TV show.
Halo I could see because there's a serious story behind that. I don't think it would be any good, but I could at least understand the reasoning behind that. What was it? Altered Beast?
Yeah, Altered Beast.
I mean, you could see how you pitched it, right? Like, let's pretend like we don't know Altered Beast and we're dumb Hollywood executives, and the pitch comes in and it's like, okay, you're the hero, but you've been killed ruthlessly and unjustly, and a kind of retarded priest resurrects you and gives you powers to transform into this mighty beast so you can avenge your enemies and rescue your wife or whatever the end goal is, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I could imagine that. Like he arm thrusts up out of the muddy ground and he climbs out of there, and then when he gets real pissed off, he turns into like this wolf man and he can just like rip people to shreds. You're like, yeah, man, that would be great. Because it kind of, I mean, if I didn't know Altered Beast, I'd be like, maybe if I was drunk and bored, that was the only thing on Netflix. But, Hollywood, they're probably not in their right minds because there's probably a lot of cocaine involved.
Probably. It's a fair bet.
They probably get paid regardless. So I could see how it happens. I would love to to be there.
For the cocaine?
No, not. I had to think about that.
I mean, if you're not going to make a movie, if you're not going to make a movie about a specific video game, what you could do is you can make a movie about video games. So the two that come to mind, one good and one indescribably bad. The good one is Wreck-It Ralph. Have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
No, I've heard good things about it. But...
Wreck-It Ralph is a Disney movie, and it's brilliant. They take all your, and it's computer animated, and they take all your favorite video game characters and they put them in this world where there's an arcade, and the arcade is all interconnected, and all the characters come into like a big game hub, and they all interact with each other. And one of the opening scenes is it's all the bad guys from all the different video games in kind of like a Bad Guys Anonymous, and it's the main character Ralph, who's kind of tired of being a bad guy, and he's sitting there in a room with like the Ghost from Pac-Man, Zangief from Street Fighter, Bowser, Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic
the Hedgehog. I mean, all the bad guys are in this like Bad Guys Anonymous meeting, and it's really kind of funny. The Q*bert game broke, so now Q*bert and his pals are kind of like, they're homeless and they're living in the Game Hub train station kind of deal.
That's funny.
I mean, it's really well done.
That's what they do wrong. They do a literal translation.
Yep.
Instead of just taking the one piece, like the character or the world or environment, and then using that as the basis for your own unique original story. That's the problem.
Yeah, and Disney, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out because it's brilliant. It's really well done. They pay homage to these games rather than literally trying to put them into a movie, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it didn't work so good for Pixels. Did you ever see Pixels?
No, but it's Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it was Adam. Yeah, it was Adam Sandler, Kevin James, and Peter Dinklage, and it was awful. Apparently, we sent a time capsule out into outer space with all of our old video games like Centipede and Galaga, Pac-Man, and Donkey Kong, and aliens got a hold of it and thought it was a declaration of war.
Yeah, that sounds stupid.
It was awful, 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 awful.
You're so good at that. It cracks me up every time.
And I had to endure it for my son who thinks it's hilarious because he's 9.
Yeah.
And this is what Adam Sandler has reduced himself to.
See, you need to learn how to fall asleep in those things.
Oh no, I can't fall asleep. He wakes me up. Dad. Oh, this is the best part. Dad. What?
You can't sleep through that shit, dude?
No, my kid won't let me. He'll be poking me in the head. Dad, this
yeah,
is the best part.
Yeah, you just say, yeah, I see it. That's funny. You don't even open your eyes. Dude, you need practice, man.
What I don't want is somewhere along the line my kid going to therapy going, my dad always ignored me when there was something that was important to me. He used to fall asleep when we were watching movies together.
Dude, if that's what your son goes to therapy about, you have done a good job. So I feel like Assassin's Creed, they could have made into a decent enough story by just taking the plot, right? Or the mechanic.
But I don't want to go see the movie with those characteristics in a new story.
Right.
I want to go see the story that I played through the original games brought to life.
See, you would be a terrible Hollywood movie executive.
Well, then at that point, it's not Assassin's Creed anymore. Call it whatever the fuck else you want.
That's what I'm saying. But you take the one thing, you lift it, you turn it into a movie quality story, and there you go.
Well, then call it anything other than Assassin's Creed. And then it's whatever it is, and then you're doing whatever it is you do. It's not Assassin's Creed.
Whatever. I Am Legend wasn't I Am Legend. They still use the same fucking name.
Yeah, and then everyone got pissed off at it. And by the way, it was a shitty movie.
Nobody even knows. Nobody read the fucking book.
But it was a shitty movie, too.
Yeah, it was. It's terrible.
It was a shitty movie. I mean, like the Harry Potter books, the movies were really, really well done, and it was largely because they stuck to the story of the books. The books had a great story, they had a great narrative, they had great characters, and you just saw those characters just brought to life in the movies. That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
Like even Game of Thrones, I really enjoyed the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones because they hewed very closely to the books. And then starting in like the third season, they kind of just went off book, and they started to, kind of collapse plot lines and, deviate from plot lines in certain places. I don't think that reduced my enjoyment of the series or of what I was watching, because it's so incredibly well done. But I was always translating, like, in my head as I was watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, that's not the way they did it. Oh, that's not what he said. That character
Yep.
wasn't even involved in that. Like that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But when they got to the sixth season and they were completely done with the books because George R.R. Martin can't get off his fat fucking ass, the sixth season was fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I mean, the stuff towards the end, like the last couple of episodes, was
Yeah.
unbelievably good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And you wonder now, because the books now are on a much different narrative than the show. When Martin gets around to writing those books, I've seen the show now.
It's gonna be fucked. It's proper fucked. He can't recover. He's not gonna finish.
You think so? You think he's done with that now?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
It's too late at this point, right?
Well, if they finish the show, they'll basically spoil the main secrets of all the storytelling from the books. One secret was revealed for sure at the end of the sixth season about some of the main characters and their parentage.
Oh, right. Yep. I was trying to figure out which one you were talking about, but yeah.
So I mean, even if and when he reveals those kinds of things in the book, you're gonna be like, yep, been there, seen it.
Or hey, that's different. So you can't go back and revise what happened in the show.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying he's fucked.
Well, he's got to finish him now, right? I mean,
I guess.
If he doesn't finish him, he's got to die first.
Yeah.
Which is possible.
That's not.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
What?
I don't know. Where do we go from here?
Well, what did we learn? Ganthor?
Don't do it. Just don't do it. They need to come with more originality than that. They can't do a straight movie adaptation. So what it comes down to is don't do it. Just
don't do it. And if you're gonna take a swipe at it, ask us first. Ask us first, and we're gonna point you towards Disney, because Disney, when they did Wreck-It Ralph, they did a nice job. Yeah. Nice job. Go look at Disney. Don't talk to Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That guy fucked it up.
Oh, he fucked up everything that he's done lately.
Fucked up everything. Good God. What the hell happened to Adam Sandler?
I never liked him to begin with.
That poor bastard. Him and Kevin James. Poor bastards. So if you think that Adam Sandler is a poor bastard, or you think that there's a video game that needs to be made into a movie, or vice versa, why don't you let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You can check out the show on Stitcher Radio, on iTunes, and on Google Play. Just search for 4Listeners. It will pop right on up, and you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch.
Hadouken! Get over here! Yoga fire.
I remember like Raiden when he would go across the street. Chopping broccoli.
I don't remember that.
Like you couldn't figure out what he said. But it sounded like chopping broccoli.
Chun-Li is always teeny tiny kick. That's not what she says. But
that's what it sounds like.
Wow. Elf needs food.
The Valkyrie is about to die. Don't shoot the food.
Oh, yeah. Skate or die. Finish him.
Fatality.
Sub-Zero wins the match. Fatality. Flawless victory. That's what it, right?
Victory.
When
That's it.
Sub-Zero wins the match. Flawless victory. Fatality.
That's it.
You'd be hearing a lot of that when we play, bro.
You think so, do you?